a song. Some of my earliest memories are musical, and in all my years, I've learned that songs are really powerful. I mean, they can make you laugh, they can make you cry, they can make you want to move, and they can transport you back to a specific place and time where you can remember exactly how cool the air was to breathe that day, or what color everything became under the streetlights when they come on at night. It's like an out-of-body experience. It's like coffee. It's magical. But why? So I want to get to the bottom of it. My name's Adam. I'm going to talk to every songwriter I can. I'm going to find out first what they take in their coffee and then what it takes to make a great song. That's Coffee and a Song. Hey guys, Adam here for Coffee and a Song. Welcome to our season finale, the final episode of season 1, and we've been having a blast doing this. Hopefully you have too. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, head on over to our YouTube page, Jackshot Records. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, do what you have to do so you know about the new episodes that'll be coming out for season 2. As well, you'll find the previous episodes for season 1 there. You can go through the back catalog. We've had a lot of fun. Also, Facebook page, Jackshot Records, Instagram, Jackshot Records. Enough about us. I'm super stoked for the special guest that we have today. Our guest today has spent many years as a full-time musician in the Toronto music scene, where he carved out a name for himself as a songsmith and a passionate live performer. Going on to wow crowds all over the world, sharing the stage with many of music's heavy hitters, and counting amongst his audience people like Jack White. He's a former university professor of art and also a visual artist in his own right, having seen his photography showcased all over the world. His love for his family brought him back to his hometown of Kitimat, where he was recently nominated deputy chief, having been elected to the Haisla Nation Council. He's a bona fide local superstar, and without a doubt the closest we will ever get to having Paul McCartney on our show. It gives us great pleasure to welcome to the show Mr. Arthur Renwick. Arthur, hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah, cheers.
It's always the awkward cheers at the beginning. So Arthur,
Yes.
we've got a few shows under our belt now, and it seems like the more and more I go out in public, the more and more people come up to me and they want to know things about the show. And lots of people ask me who's going to be on the show. I always try and keep it a secret, but I let it out of the bag that you were going to be on the show, and people come up to me right away and they all want to know, what do you take in your coffee?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing?
I like my coffee to taste like coffee.
Nice.
Yeah.
So just black.
Just black.
Straight up, get her done.
Straight up
No
black.
messing about.
Yeah.
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 That's nice and easy, especially like if you're on the road or something, you
Yeah.
know. I know, sometimes you go to places, you're doing a gig or a show or something. If you want to have a cup of coffee, they don't always have the right stuff. Sometimes they have that weird powder stuff, you know. The white death, they call it, or whatever. That stuff's flammable. Did you ever see that?
I did not. No,
you know,
I have not seen
I think
that.
it was Mythbusters. They made almost a nuclear bomb out of that stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually
I had no
flammable.
idea.
It's an
did
edible
not.
petroleum product.
Jeez.
There you go.
Well,
So
I'm glad I don't use it.
healthy right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to coffee, do you like things like specialty coffees? Do you like mochas or lattes or?
Yeah, occasionally. Like if I'm at a restaurant and they have an espresso machine, I'd like a good cappuccino sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What about sometimes like, camping or something, little Baileys in the coffee? You ever try that?
Yeah, I have tried that. It's been a while since I've had it, but yeah, I wouldn't say no.
Okay.
Certain
All right.
days.
So you're open to different interpretations of coffee. And is coffee your hot drink of choice? Is that what gets you going in the morning?
It is, yeah. I need to have at least one cup before I get going. Yeah.
Now, if you're hitting the road and you're going on a road trip, do you get a coffee for the road? Do you have to drive with a coffee?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a coffee on the way here.
Oh, there you go.
In a little
Okay.
travel mug. Yeah.
So you did travel to get here too. We
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So where do you get your coffee from if you're traveling?
When I'm traveling, you mean like just like drive-through
Yeah, if
coffee
you had to hit a
places?
drive-through, what would you pick?
Well, I'm not a huge fan of Starbucks, but I'll get a coffee from there. I find they burn their beans a bit. It's got a little bit of a flavor to it that I'm not that excited about, but I prefer that over Tim Hortons. I'll do Tim Hortons sometimes. And if I do Tim Hortons, I don't drink that black. I have to have 1 and 1.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit of it's got an octane thing going on there with the Tim Hortons thing. Yeah.
One place that I've always been surprised at how good the coffee is and I like drinking it black, is at surprisingly McDonald's.
So we've been keeping a little tally. I keep marking scores back here throughout. I ask everybody who comes on the show about where they get their coffee from, and it's been quite surprising. McDonald's has really picked up their coffee game.
Yeah, it's I think they're, what do they call it?
Mix something.
Well, there's that. But it's a fair trade coffee as well.
Yeah.
And it's all organic.
Yeah.
So they're really conscious about the impact that coffee can have, like the amount that they use, what it can have on the environment. So they're conscious about it. So it's nice to hear.
Good to see.
Yeah.
Getting with the times.
That's right.
Okay, so if someone come up to you tomorrow and handed you essentially a blank check and said, listen, we want you to go anywhere in the world and just have the coffee of your dreams. You would get to go, you would get to have whatever kind of coffee you want and sit and look over any view that you want. Where would that be in the world?
A view.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
It's a weird question.
Yeah. Where would I go? I've always wanted to go to Italy. And they have good coffee in Italy.
They do. I got to go to Italy last summer and got to drink the coffee.
Oh, nice.
Man, it's hard to come back.
I know, right?
And I make good coffee at home, but it's still hard to come back. That was otherworldly.
Yeah.
So that's a great pick. Great pick. Okay, so that's it about the coffee. We're going to let you off the hook with the coffee questions now. We'll get into some of the music, but so what's one of your earliest musical memories? Like all playing aside, just music entering your brain.
Smoke on the Water.
Wow.
First riff.
Yeah. Okay.
First riff. Second riff was God of Thunder by Kiss.
Oh wow.
And then Black Dog by Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
Those three riffs are what started me off.
Wow. That's a good start. That's a good healthy start. Wow, okay. And so what was the journey to becoming a musician? Like how did that happen? How did you get a guitar in your hands for the first time?
Well, my dad had it was smaller than a parlor guitar. He had this thing that he would only play it when he was drunk. It was kind of funny. And he couldn't play very well, but it was always around and I would always pick it up and play around with it, and that's where I learned all those riffs.
Okay.
But I don't know. It was just something I gravitated towards as a form of escape. I would do that as well as draw. My mom would always try to find me, and I'd hide somewhere, like hide behind the lazy boy, and I'd be sitting looking through books, and I would copy whatever I was looking at. I had a knack for drawing, so I just sort of gravitated towards those kinds of things, creative outlets, I guess. Like all my friends would, lift weights and do guy things and get into sports, whereas I would just stay home and get creative.
Wow, that's really cool.
So it's always been something I just found it was probably therapeutic for me at the time.
I bet.
Yeah.
And now as an adult, do you still find yourself doing that? Do you still kind of go to like a little hiding spot when you want to be creative, or can you do it, anywhere?
It's gone to the point where I'm not too self-conscious about it, so I can do it in front of people, but I find mornings are the most creative time for me, when I'm sipping my first coffee and my head's clear and I can just sit down in a comfortable chair and play guitar, and I usually come up with riffs that way, and if I hit a riff, I'll hum something in my head, see if I can find something, and then if I find a hook in lyrics, I'll work with it.
Okay.
I usually come up with a chorus first, and then I work on the verses after that.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. And so are you constantly writing? Like, are you actively almost, daily or weekly? Are you trying to write?
Well, you'd think with this pandemic that I'd have all the time in the world, but there's still not enough time in the day to do the things that I need to do.
It's amazing. Right?
And yeah, I think I've written one song, and it's not quite finished yet, but it's all there, and it's a drinking song of all things.
Okay.
And it was funny because I'll take breaks from alcohol occasionally. Like the first time I quit drinking for a period of time was 7 years I quit. And when I was sober, I wrote a bunch of drinking songs.
Okay.
I don't know why it happened, but through sobriety, I guess it's flushing out all the memories, and I turn them into songs that one of the songs has become a bit of an anthem in the region, and in Ontario, it's people love it up at their cottages. They like to sing it, but it's a song called "It's Gonna Go All Night."
Ah.
And it's a drinking song, and it's about growing up in a household where there was music being played all the time, and it goes all night.
Very cool.
But you got to bring some whiskey and some beer.
That always helps.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. So, and you grew up in Kitimat?
In Kitimat,
In Kitimat.
yeah.
And kind of in a musical family. Do you think that shaped you as a songwriter? Like the location, being in the north, being kind of in an isolated area, as well as, just home in general growing
Yeah,
up?
I would say that, but I think what impacted me the most was my mom's love for music.
Okay.
She constantly played music, and she loved singer-songwriters. She loved Chris Christopherson, Waylon Jennings, George Jones. She played all the old country. My dad was a generation older than her,
Okay.
so he was into more Johnny Cash and Hank Snow, Hank Williams,
Right.
that vein. And so between the two of them, my mom also got into popular music, things like the Beatles. She liked David Bowie.
Wow, yeah.
So and the Rolling Stones. So I really got a good cross section of
I would
that
say
kind
so.
of classic music.
That's a great pedigree. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
gonna be raised on some music and get an education, I mean, wow, that's a broad.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've covered all your bases there.
Yeah, and what was funny is that if she really liked a song, she would play it over and over and over again, so that earworm would get stuck.
Right.
So one song that she played constantly was Sunday Morning Coming Down, which is kind of appropriate for days like today.
We film on Sundays, and sometimes people show up with different colors. That's why I have red lights on. It kind of makes everybody change color and look a little more like themselves.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, so obviously all of those people were influences on you, but as a songwriter, is there one that stands out, above the rest that was really a strong influence, like on your songwriting?
I would have to say Chris Christopherson, I think, had a big impact. I really loved his phrasing and just the way he could just weave lyrics to really make you feel like that Sunday morning's coming down. And,
Yeah.
That sense of loss and longing. Like, he was really good at translating those feelings into poetry, cowboy poetry. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think he's a bit of an underrated artist these days, and he's kind of one of the last of the Highwaymen era still going and stuff, and just a fantastic talent.
Yeah.
Like super talented.
Yeah. When I became a young adult and moved away and went to art school in Vancouver, I started listening to people like Bob Dylan, and through him got to know the band. I remember seeing The Last Waltz on television many years ago, and I remember Robbie Robertson. Then in the 80s, Robbie released his solo album, and that had a huge impact on me.
Okay.
That was a beautiful album. Like, it's timeless. Like, you can still go back and listen to it. And then he started becoming more open about his indigenous identity. Like, he was Mohawk. And
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
that influenced me as well, because my mom is First Nations as well, and it really connected with me on a different level,
Right.
than other songwriters did, because I could identify with what he was writing about and singing about, and it made me instill some pride in me about my cultural background.
For sure. And that's important, right?
Yeah, because like it's fairly well known that indigenous people have really had a rough go with historically in this country, and there's certain biases when you're out and about when it comes to being face to face with certain situations. My older brother, Burton, he's always been darker than me. He's got a different father, so I could walk through doors that he couldn't. He'd be,
oh wow,
the subtle things like with friends and whatnot, and there's a bit of bias for sure.
That's horrible. Like, that's horrible to witness, especially like when you see your brother going through it at times and maybe not affecting you. And
He's not the only one.
No.
Like, I remember as a kid, we went to Alberta. My dad was from Three Hills, Alberta, and I think I was 4 or 5. So this was like 1969, maybe 1968. And my mom's dad went out there to hang with my dad's dad, these two old guys, and they dressed similar, and they both liked to drink their stubby beers. And I think one night they went out to a local pub or something, and my grandpa on my dad's side was always a regular at this place, and they walked in with my mom and her dad, and they there was still a sign on the door that said "No Indians allowed."
Wow.
And they were, when they came to serve them, they said, "I'm sorry, we can't serve you." And my grandpa stood up and said, "If you don't serve us, then we're never coming back to this establishment ever again. You can consider our friendship done." So the owners decided to go ahead and serve.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it sort of made a bit of a change in that area. So it's like, there's, I mean, to call it what it is, it was blatant racism.
Totally.
And it's not that long ago,
No,
that's in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I saw.
And that's scary. And
you
know what? Like it's not like it's gone away.
No.
It really hasn't.
Yeah.
And not to get all political, but
yeah.
no, I mean, it hasn't gone away. So, but right now, here you are, for millions of people, well, at least hundreds of people, and maybe you're that Robbie Robertson for the next generation. So maybe someone's going to watch this and they're going to see you and you're going to do the same thing. So right now, what would you say to some young kid who's thinking about buying themselves a guitar and thinking about doing it? What would you say? They're in your shoes.
Do it.
Yeah.
G, C, and D. Go start a band.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And it's that easy. Well, it's not that easy, but it's close to that easy.
Yeah. 3 chords and the truth.
That's right. Yeah. Awesome.
Or 4 chords if you want to get complicated.
Really fancy stuff.
Then there's Tom Waits who could just do it all with 1 chord.
That happens too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I always wanted to write a 1 chord song, but I wasn't that good. I couldn't do it. So I wrote a 2 chord song.
2 chord song. There you go. Yeah. just to get enough ideas in there.
Funny enough, it's a drinking song as well.
I'm sensing a theme.
It's called Do the Bukowski.
Do the Bukowski.
Yeah, it's waltz. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So all these old, you mentioned some of these old heavy hitters that were huge influences on you and stuff. Do you still go back and listen to that kind of a catalog now? And if you do, what's your favorite way to listen to that music? Do you listen on vinyl or anything like that? Or
I have vinyl. Yeah. I have a turntable. I do love doing that.
Okay.
But lately I've been, I got a new phone and I tried to get in, like I used to purchase individual songs.
Yes.
And things have changed, and I was trying to do that again, but I couldn't figure out how to do it on my phone. Like usually it was just like normal, like you buy one individually, but I got in and all of a sudden I got hooked up to Apple Music. So now I'm on a streaming platform, which was totally unexpected to me. And I don't agree with them because the artists don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
I prefer the single thing, but all of a sudden I had access to this and I thought, well, let me try it out. So this is within the last month, and I ended up downloading a whole bunch of albums that I hadn't heard in years, like childhood stuff, and started re-listening to them. Things like The Cars, or I can't even name them all. But what I've been doing lately is putting earbuds in and going for walks.
Nice.
And listening to people like Bahamas. I really like his style, his music, his songwriting, his delivery. I've seen him perform a few times. But something that I've really gotten into lately is exploring Chris Cornell.
Love that guy.
Yeah, I've really been listening to he's got a huge catalog.
Huge catalog.
And generally, like, all of the big hits that are written by people that are like the monster hits were usually written when they were in their 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing about Chris is that he's never stopped.
No.
And a lot of those guys like have really done really well outside of once they got into their 30s. But when you look at the Beatles, their whole catalog were all done before they turned 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every album.
Such a huge impact. I mean, their impact isn't going to go away for 100 years at least. Yeah. And all that done in a 7-year window. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Chris Cornell is probably my favorite vocalist.
Yeah.
Like, that guy was just a huge talent. And I loved every different version of him. Like I loved Audio Slave, Soundgarden, and then his solo stuff too. And he even did a dance track with, I don't know, Timbaland or whatever the guy's name is. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He did like a club hit thing, and it's it's not my style, but it's still really great. He's just hugely talented. So.
Yeah, very much so.
Wow. Okay, so here's a weird question. It's a weird show, so we have to have weird questions.
Okay.
So if I gave you a magic button right now, like the little Jeopardy clicker when they're answering,
right.
They're telling their questions to answer however that works. And I told you had to use it. Okay, so you have to click this thing, and what it's going to do is it's going to freeze music to a 10-year window. It could be a decade, or it could be between decades or whatever, but it's a 10-year window, and that's what we're stuck with for music forever now. You just got to pick that one era. What would it be?
70s.
Nice. Yeah, straight up. No hesitation.
70s,
Yeah.
Yeah, 70s.
Yeah.
That's like, I think that was a golden age for music.
For sure.
Like a lot of innovation was happening, and all kinds of different things were being invented. You know, and not just in rock music or popular music, but in, you know, other genres as well. Like I think it was a really exciting time musically. The industry was really picking up, and like the idea of the big rock show was invented. You know?
Yeah, that's right. The PA gear was catching up with the bands and the venues.
Yeah, and the stacks of amplifiers
That's
and
right.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, you can't go wrong with the 70s. So you mentioned earlier about your mum having the songs on repeat, essentially, which back then wouldn't have been repeat. You would have had to put the needle
Drop the
back.
needle.
Yeah. Kids aren't going to get that reference. But.
Yeah.
So you would hear those songs over and over again, and some songs have that way of, you know, maybe you don't love them right away, and after a while you gain a new appreciation for them, and they slowly work their way in, and then they become your favorite thing. But can you think of a song off the top of your head that was just like a magical lightning bolt the first time you heard it? You just loved it, and it went on your mixtape or whatever.
Well, there was a lot, like some stuff that she listened to. The earworms still exist in my head. She loved Neil Diamond.
Oh yeah, right.
You know, there's so many songs that he did that, you know, Suleiman, like those kinds of things that would ricochet in your head and just never escape, still exist. She also loved Elvis.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a phase there where I was really into listening to his old 50s stuff and loving that for a while when I was younger. But you know, Caught in a Trap.
Yeah.
You know, that whole, just that, the catchphrase of the first line is what really holds you and makes you, you know, travel along for the journey to want to hear that. I want to hear that one again, you know. So there's a variety. Lately I've been putting on repeat, just listening to it over and over again with my earbuds when I'm driving, is Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
A song called Seasons.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like just the musically, I really love his guitar style. Like it's an open tuning, and but also lyrically, like it's really interesting lyrics that he's writing, and his delivery with it, I just find engaging. And it's like, when they first came out, I wasn't that interested in them. I liked Pearl Jam; they were all right, but I was going through that phase of just doing my own stuff, I think, at that point when that stuff was coming out, and I wasn't that interested in popular music.
Right.
Yeah, I just sort of took a break from it.
Very cool. Okay, so your own songwriting style. You already mentioned that you start with a chorus normally, and you know.
Start off with a riff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually hit a riff, and then from there just work with it. I love riffs. You know. Like I mentioned, the 3 songs that I first learned, so I've gotten used to that. But when I was growing up, my brother and I were given a drum kit and a bass guitar from my cousin Ivan Woods. I think Abadoo is what was his nickname was.
Okay.
Him and Sammy Woods, his cousin, had a band, I guess, and they used to play around with the stuff, but they didn't touch it for a long time. And when my brother and I would go in there, we would get on the kit and the bass, and we would just jam stuff out and take turns. So I really got into rhythm and bass lines. So I think that's hugely influenced my writing as well, because when I perform on stage, I have a license plate that I use for a stomp.
Oh, okay, interesting.
That I put into the sound system, and I play harmonica. And a lot of the playing that I do is like I will do that alternate picking, but as well.
Right. So you're holding the bass line down.
Yeah. Sort of keep all that going. So, and with the beat as well. So it's sort of a one-man band kind of thing. But I just love the activity of sort of keeping all of those things activated, and then as well adding a harmonica to that. harmonica's a lot of fun. You can sort of do things with that you can't do with your voice or your
Yeah,
guitar. So
very
it's
cool.
Nice tonal value to it.
That's always impressive to me, that people who can go up and just sit in 3 different driver's seats all at the same time while captivating an audience. So huge thing for you, man. Wow, that's great. So if we had to boil it down, say I gave you the task, maybe this was a reality show, and it was like, okay, we've got 2 hours to write a song, or a how-to video or whatever. How would you go about doing it? If I just said right now, we're going to write a song and we got to get it done in 2 hours, and
Yeah, I've done that.
okay,
I've done some co-writes with people. I did co-write with Ken Whiteley. Yeah, we just come up with a theme. I think I did something with Dan McLean Jr. as well in Toronto. And as well another song with Tony Quarrington. And each time I did the music.
okay,
For all 3 of them and some of them I would come up on the spot come up with a riff or a chord progression, and then from there we would just sort of have a conversation and then talk, and then the words would just fall from the ceiling.
very cool.
And we'd create a song. The one with Dan McLean, we did a song about depression,
Okay,
but it was sort of an optimistical kind of, there was optimism around it. With Ken Whiteley, he had just come out of open heart surgery, and he was a healthy guy. Like, he never smoked, didn't drink, was a vegetarian, and practiced yoga every day.
wow,
And he had a problem with his heart, and he had to have open heart surgery, and so they cut his chest open. And of course, it's a traumatic experience for anybody. And they put him back together, but he was in a coma for a while, and
wow.
people were worried that we were going to lose him. But then he came out of it, and I went to visit him, and I said, I've got this idea for a song. Would you be interested in writing the song with me? And he said, absolutely. So, yeah, we did. It's called How Fast Flies Time.
Oh,
We've reversed it. It was like
Switched
not
a
time
bit,
flies. Yeah. How fast flies time.
interesting.
And he recorded it, and
Okay.
he's got a video on YouTube that you can search it out, and it's a co-write that we have.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's really cool. So you're not afraid of a co-write then? You don't mind? You like the collaboration process?
I do. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really easy, and sometimes it's a struggle to try to get things going.
Yeah.
But it sort of varies. But I've had pretty good success rate with anybody that I've sat down with, and
Cool.
managed to pull something together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under the pressure?
Yeah.
The 2 hour window I gave you? So you mentioned like the lyrics falling from the sky after you got that theme, and I'm a bit like, when I approach it, I like that too. I like the idea of a theme, and it kind of gives you some boundaries of what you're writing about, like as far as the lyric content. Do you normally have lyrics come to you naturally, or do you have to hunt for them, or do you compile them? Do you keep notes stashed, napkins, and
Yeah, I do. All of that.
Okay.
Like I'll just be walking somewhere, and I'll have this cadence come into my head, and then a phrase will come up. So I'll either, if I'm walking, I might record it vocally with my phone, or I'll type it out and write it out, and then say, okay, I want to come back to that. For instance, one phrase came up, and I thought, oh, that'd be a really great lyric, and it was a bumper crop of hurtin' songs.
Oh, okay.
It's like, yeah, I just had a bumper crop of hurtin' songs, and I thought, yeah, that'd be good. And then I came up with a riff. Sort of, just really coming up with something that kind of suits it.
Yeah.
And then it just formulates itself, and the songs kind of write themselves.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that too. I like the feeling of the conduit. I always say like a conduit where you're the vessel from which the song flows through, or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I think if you kind of test for which way the wind's blowing, eventually you're going to catch something too, right? Like, or it'll come to you. You've obviously got a catalog of music.
So I do have CDs. This next album, I'm wanting to press an LP.
Nice.
I've timed it so that it's all the songs are written so that there's a side A and a side B.
That's a lost art form.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a common art form anyway.
Yeah.
Although it seems to be coming back. Do you have a release date in mind for the next one?
No. Well, it's been put on hold. It's like I recorded this a while ago, and I've started and stopped it numerous times based on like I was all gung ho and ready to get it going, and then all of a sudden life would hit, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta move to BC.
Yeah.
So, and okay, I'll launch it from BC and tour it across Canada, and then my mom had a series of strokes, and that kind of changed all my plans again. I decided to stay here, and so it's still in the works, and I've actually hired 3 different people to try to work on something design-wise, but nothing's ever really just gripped me. It's like, yeah, that's it. So it's just, I still got to get designed and packaged and to get it out there. So if there's any designers out there, taking applications.
There you go. How do people reach you, by the way, if they're trying to reach you? Do you have a platform to be able to be reached online?
Facebook. Facebook's probably the easiest and fastest because I'm on there the most.
Okay, so a couple of quick questions here, and then I'm going to get you to perform a song for us. But if I'm going to edit this part out of the video, I'm not going to show this to people because you don't want people to know this. But do you have a guilty pleasure song? Do you have one that you wouldn't want, you wouldn't want to play for Jack White in the audience, but it's a song that you hear and you just can't help yourself? Maybe it's like disco or something. You must have one of those.
I'm trying to think, is there something in my phone? Yeah, The Cure.
The Cure, there you go. Yeah.
Close to me. Like when I'm getting off an airplane, I like to put my earbuds on and play that song called Close to Me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've ever seen the video, but they're performing the song inside of a closet, and the closet is falling off a cliff.
Oh, I don't think I have seen that.
And it lands in the ocean, and it sinks, and they're swimming around inside of this. It looks like a coffin, all of them, and they're playing these tiny instruments and singing this song Close to Me. So getting off an airplane, it just seems like the perfect soundtrack.
Nice.
But that's the only song I ever listened to of theirs.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, we've all got them, guilty pleasures. Okay, and so here's another abstract one, but if money wasn't a factor, but you could take the credit for writing any song in the world. So, a song that you wish you had written, basically. But money's not in the equation. It's just purely for the love of the song. What's a famous song that we might know that you wish you wrote?
Mr. Bojangles.
Oh, great tune. Yeah, that's a great tune. Yeah. I just often think of like artists that say did a cover of a song where it's almost more suited to that artist. Like Johnny Cash did the song Hurt.
Yeah.
And that was a 9 Inch Nails song, but by all rights, Johnny Cash should have written that song. Or Jimi Hendrix with All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
So that's a great song, Mr. Bojangles. I could see that.
Yeah, I've been working on it lately. I just sort of, it's always been out there, but I thought, what about that song? And I listened to it, and I figured it out, and going like, wow, that's a beautiful tune.
Yeah, and just the whole, like the guitar work of that song, it's got that descending bass line thing going on and stuff. It's
he wrote that song when he was in prison.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. He was in jail. And the song is about his jailmate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So one last question before we get to your song. I want to know. You just got a phone call from your manager because one of your songs just blew up all around the world. It has just taken off. Everybody loves it. And now the whole world is looking at you. And everybody in the business wants to work with you. So your manager said, look, you get one collaboration with anybody you want in the world. Who is that?
Well, Bob Dylan doesn't collaborate, so it can't be him. Chris Christopherson is getting up there in age, and it's hard to work with him. I really like Lucinda Williams.
Okay.
She's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But I think I would choose Robbie Robertson.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, full circle. Mm-hmm. Right. Wow. Okay. Awesome. Okay, and you did bring an original song today to share with us, right?
I did. Yeah. It was tough to figure one out, but I think just with this pandemic that's happening right now, I thought about sort of different hurtin' songs that I could sing, but I think there's enough hurtin' going on that maybe it's time to focus on something else.
Okay.
Besides, I've noticed lately that since what's his name has got into office down in the States, the man who shall not be named, there's a lot of game shows on television now. My mom and I love watching The Wall And it's like this simple, brainless thing of watching balls drop down into different denominations of money. And it's just like the mentality of everything is just so heavy right now.
Yeah.
You know, when the pandemic first hit, like I think a lot of people, when we all got locked into our place and everything just shut down, flights were stopped and like everything, and we were all locked into this room. Like for myself, like I really bottomed out for a while. You know, I was like socially active. I was working full time plus performing 3 nights a week and playing poker on Wednesdays, and all of a sudden all of that was taken away.
Yeah.
And it was like we were all left to sort of face ourselves, face the dark side of ourselves, I guess, is where I went. And I went for about a week of just not even showering, not even changing my clothes. You know, these were my pajamas. And just like walking around in the daze going like, what is going on? And I figured it took me a while to sort of pull out of it, and now that I'm becoming more active again and getting out there and I'm able to hold a conversation, whereas for a while there I felt like I couldn't even find the words to ask for a coffee, you know.
Wow. Yeah. Heavy times.
Yeah, really heavy. But then other things started surfacing, and then all of a sudden, you know, amazed that I was able to, like, the way my life changed with my mom having strokes, I got stuck here. And, you know, my music career came to a halt in some ways, but at the same time, it brought me home to spend all of this amazing time with her and really become close with my mom again. And, you know, have, you know, breakfast with her every morning and make her dinners every day. And it's been, you know, just her, after she recovered from her strokes, the first thing that came back to her was not only her sense of humor, but her sarcasm. And it's like a wicked wit of a sarcasm that was just like deadpan, you know, like, and she just like throws these zingers and then waits for you to react, and then she'll laugh when she gets a reaction. So
I
like
her already.
Yeah. So sort of, you know, finding that it was a blessing that she had the strokes, because if she hadn't, I would be in Toronto and stuck there during the pandemic. And I don't know how I would have survived.
Yeah. So
coming home and getting this regular work at as a counselor plus making music on the side, it's been really, sort of counting my blessings. So I thought I'd sing a song about love.
That's awesome.
And
Lift us up. Yeah. And on behalf of the North, it's been a big gain for us to have you back. I mean, bringing your music back. I look forward to hearing the song.
Well, it's been good to be back. Like I've been really pleasantly surprised at how many musicians there are in the region. Like you and I were talking on the telephone when we first met on the phone, and I'm really impressed with the quality and like the number of people that are actually doing their own music here in this region. Is inspiring.
It is.
And exciting.
It is. It's really flourished. I feel like in the last 5-6 years, it's really flourished here. And that's the reason I'm doing this show. I mean, this is not something I would normally venture out and do, but it was to try and help showcase some of this stuff. And of course, you know, my love of songwriting is bringing me to do it and ask the questions. I get to meet with people like you who can inform me and help inform people watching, but at the same time, promoting the area, because there's a lot of talent here. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
So speaking of promoting, I do run an open mic every Thursday in Kitimat at a place called Wee Geordie's.
Wee Geordie's
Pub, Jim Tom's Pub. So Thursdays.
I'm going to try my best to make it out to one of those as well.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a bit of a drive for me, but I don't mind sticking around for something like that.
Yeah,
great to go out and do
if I know that you're coming out, like I can put you on early and get you going and get
my embarrassment out of the way right away. Well, so are you feel like you're ready to play a song first?
I think so, yeah.
I'm excited to hear this. So this is called
Love is the Only Thing.
Love is the Only Thing.
And it's off of my first album. By the way, this is a guitar from Sight and Sound. When the pandemic hit, they had an online, it wasn't a contest, but just a draw where you sort of put your name in the hat, and just when the pandemic hits, I actually won this.
You were the lucky one?
Yeah.
I tried to be.
It's a Yamaha. You tried?
I tried to be.
I was really grateful. Thanks, Tony. of sight. You right there. Don't move from your chair. Halos floating up above. All I want, babe, is to feel your love. My high hopes haven't grown so tall. Sometimes they're better off to feel so small. But what else to ask for in this life but peace, love, happiness, and a little less strife? But all those feelings racing round, love is the only thing raining down. All those memories swimming around, love is the only thing raining down. Love is the only thing raining down. Trying to find my way round that sun again, and everything that I do brings me back to you. It brings me back to you. What's falling down has gotta get up. Spirits brimming your loving cup, so come on over and take me now. There ain't nothing else matter in this world anyhow. But all those feelings racing round, love is the only thing raining down. And all those memories swimming around, love is the only thing raining down. And all those feelings swimming around, love is the only thing raining down. And all those memories swimming around, love is the only thing raining down. Love is the only thing raining down. Love is the only thing. Love is the only thing. Love is the only thing. Love is the only thing.
Beautiful job, man. Beautiful job. I am a sucker for the slide. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Beautiful song. Very uplifting.
Thanks.
I really, really
Sometimes
appreciate
we
you
need that.
being here today, man.
Oh, yeah.
That means a lot to me.
My pleasure.
Great way to finish off our season. Before I let you go, though, we've got a little tradition here on Coffee and a Song. You get to seal the deal on the season 1
Oh, cool.
Cup of Fame. Would you mind giving me a little signature there?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind at all. My pleasure.
And I know, so is the open mic still happening right now?
Well,
it on
no,
hold?
when the pandemic hit, he had to shut
Yeah.
his doors, but apparently he's going to be opening up possibly Sunday or Monday.
Sunday or Monday. So this isn't going to air for a little bit. So by the time this airs, you should be back in full swing.
Yeah, I think when he gets the full nod to go ahead, it's probably going to be August is what I'm thinking,
Okay.
July or August.
Okay, there you go.
But yeah.
So we can catch you there on
Absolutely.
Thursday nights in Kitimat. We Geordies, you can check out Arthur there.
Yeah.
Keep
That's for
an eye
the open mic.
Open mics, yeah.
And then I perform there Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, even better.
From 9 till 2 in the morning usually.
And you can pick up your music there. Do you have a merch table set up?
I
or?
sold out my first run of CDs, but I'm in the process of getting some more, so I will have some.
Okay,
But,
awesome. So if you're looking to get a hold of his music, that's one way of finding Arthur in Kitimat at Wee Geordies. You can also check him out on YouTube. There's some great videos on YouTube of his music. Can't thank you enough for being here. I'd love to have you come back when gigs are in full swing and talk about what you're up to and stuff. Just want to give a huge thanks to everybody who's tuned in for season 1. This has been not only a huge learning curve for me with the technical aspect of making a show, but also with writing songs. I've learned a lot. I hope you have too. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, do all the liking and stuff. But all that aside, I just want to genuinely thank you for tuning in. It's been a blast doing Coffee and a Song, and we look forward to season 2. So until then,